Number 3, Alan Cresswell. Number 7, please welcome Number 8, James Ward-Prowse. Number 11, another new name, Nicholas Ward-Prowse. Number 17, another new name, Louis Guilherme. Number 18, Danny Ings. Number 22, Maxwell Cornet. Number 27, Naya Cabrera. Number 29, Andy Irving. Number 40, George Irving. Number 42, Caelan Casey. Number 56, Gideon Podwell. And number 62, Freddie Potts. Come on, you
Right, you lot, today's a big day, because we know West Ham United is all about putting in the hard work, grafting for the bag.
Yes, let's have it!
And you've worked hard. Early starts, late finishes. Oh, I've seen it, tireless, selfless graft. We're not just cooking on the pitch. We're cooking off it too. And you do it all on your own, don't you? Well, not anymore. It's not just about the badge on your shirt. It's about what you wear on your sleeve and what that represents. Because this club don't exist without you. You pillars of the community. You champions of industry. You beautiful business owners. Now get out there and show me what you've got!
Our London. Real London. Nobody stays a stranger. The Bow Bells. Our London calling. More than just a place. The Cockney call heard far and wide. Graft and dedication together for the ride. Born here, raised or made here, this is home. Our differences unite us, wherever we may roam. Our spirit strong, our pride runs deep. In our London, it's our dreams we keep. Through highs and lows, we rise and shine. Beyond these streets, the Bow Bells chime.
Bubbles in, yeah. Safe flight, no flight.
Remember the glory. From the Academy of Football to the champions of Europe, where our players became giants of the game and changed it forever, wearing our famous claret and blue. 60 years on, we wear the pride, we wear the passion, we wear the history, whilst making our own. Wear the greatness.
Good afternoon everyone and welcome to the London Stadium for West Ham's final game of pre-season, the Betway Cup, and this year's opposition are Celta Vigo. I am your commentator Ollie Aldis, joined by Rufus Brevitt, ex-West Ham, Fulham and QPR player. Rufus, how are you this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Really looking forward to this game.
Really looking forward to this game. We're admiring the transfers that West Ham have made this summer. Of course, Julian Lopetegui's first game at the London Stadium, as is the players who he signed this summer. He's certainly been backed since he signed for West Ham, Rufus.
Yeah, that's right. He's come in, sort of big boots to fill, with David Moyes going. But yeah, he's certainly come in. He's been backed, and I think the players that have come in are quality, and hopefully they can improve this team.
Well, of course, one of them starts this afternoon in Guido Rodriguez in midfield, but of course on the bench, what depth they've got now, West Ham. Really, really strong bench. Of course, Crescencio Somerville will likely make his debut this afternoon, as will Nico Fulkrog, and of course Louis Guilherme, the young boy from Brazil. He looks exciting. What have you made of him so far?
He does look really exciting. Coming from Brazil, you know that he's gonna have a touch, he's gonna have technique, he's gonna have flair, and it's adapting to the Premier League. So I'm sure that the manager will introduce him slowly.
Absolutely, it'll be exciting. Of course, West Ham's pre-season hasn't really got going as of yet. Of course, it is their final game today. They've won, of course, a couple of games. They beat Dagenham and Redbridge 1-0, and then had two defeats to Wolves and Crystal Palace. What did you make of those two 3-1 losses?
Yeah, really disappointing. But it's pre-season. The team that would have played in those games, not the team that's going to face Aston Villa. Pre-season's about getting fitness, getting game time, but even so, you still want to win these games. But no, I mean, it kicks off next week, and hopefully we can see what happens then.
Of course, West Ham will want to go out on a bang. For Celta Vigo, however, we were just saying before commentary and going live that they've had a really strong pre-season. In fact, pretty much the opposite to West Ham's. They found themselves winning 4 of their pre-season games. They've obviously played Luton last weekend and won 3-1, so that's a fairly good performance. What are you expecting from this Celta Vigo side this afternoon?
I think it'll be a really good game. I think it'll be an open game as well. I did see a little bit of the game against Luton, where they looked impressive going forward in the final third. They've got some really good, tricky players. But on the other hand, at the back, anything that went in the box, they did seem to struggle. So, you know, West Ham, I'm sure they've looked at that and will look to do something on that front.
Of course, and Julian Lopetegui signed after, of course, David Moyes left at the end of last season. Of course, he had a stint with Wolverhampton Wanderers in the 2022-23 campaign. What have you made of his appointment, and what do you see his West Ham side looking like?
I think he's got pedigree. He's managed arguably the biggest team in the world in Real Madrid, so he has got pedigree. He knows what he's doing, and it's a situation where they've got to play on the front foot, and I think that's what the fans are looking for. So, and entertaining football as well. Absolutely.
Well, we're looking forward to this one as West Ham and Celta Vigo make their way onto the pitch. We'll now have a look at the team lineups as a first rendition of Forever Blowing Bubbles, as you can hear in the London Stadium the first time this season. Here is the West Ham United lineup. Of course, Areola in goal. He comes in for Fabianski, who started the last game. It's almost a similar defensive line. Vladimir Kufal, Maximilian Kilman and Emerson keep their place with Mavropanos. And it's a change in personnel. Aaron Cresswell being replaced by Guido Rodriguez, who makes his debut after signing from Real Betis. He's along that defensive midfield partnership with Souček. And then it looks like it's going to be a midfield 3 of Jarrod Bowen back after playing for England at the Euros, with Mohamed Kudus, who plays on the wing after starting alongside Antonio in that strike partnership in their last game, with Paqueta and Antonio leading the line. So for Celta Vigo, 7 changes since their 3-1 win at Kenilworth Road. Benched is the goalkeeper Girona, but comes in Vilar. It's Carrera, Starfelt, Ristic and Manquillo who make that back line, with Damian Rodriguez, Beltran and Jailson Marquez in that midfield 3. And it looks to be a front 3 of Borja Iglesias, who signed from Bayer Leverkusen this summer, with Iago Aspas and wide man Jonathan Bamba. I think the format of this competition, the Betway Cup fixture, 11 substitutions are granted. They have to be made in 3 goes, as the players are just making their way into their positions. Of course, last game, Crystal Palace, when West Ham played them in America, West Ham played a back 5. Now they've gone to a back 4. What do you think the thinking behind that is, Rufus?
I think it's a situation where the manager's come in and he's going to be able to adapt to whoever is playing, and you know he's played different formations in pre-season. He's played 3-4-3, 4-3-3, 5-3-2. So you know it's about adapting to different formations of what he wants, which I think is a good thing.
I suppose after that he'll then be able to come to the conclusion of maybe what formation worked the best. Of course, it is a lot on the opposition too. It looks like Celta Vigo will be playing a 4-3-3 formation. Of course, Lopetegui coming in, typically known as a manager who likes to play possession-based football. He was even asked a question in the press conference about his style of play, and he did admit that he loves a counter-attack and mentioned that there are a lot of ways to win, and stated that he was delighted to come back to the Premier League after his stint at Wolves. So we're underway at the London Stadium with the bubbles just in the camera. Here's Maximilian Kilman, who's making his London Stadium debut. He's an exciting player, of course, played under Lopetegui at Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was in fact Lopetegui that gave Kilman the captain's armband for the first time of Kilman's career.
Yeah, and it is someone that the manager obviously knows well. He's worked with him, and he's a good player. He really is. He's dependable, reliable, and I think he's a great signing for West Ham.
He'll be good with the ball at his feet. Of course, played for the England futsal side. That was a lovely pass played in by Paqueta, as it's still alive here for West Ham early on. West Ham just looked to try and break down that Celta Vigo defence. So they tried to come away with it through Jonathan Bamba, the Ivorian. Played for the French national team in their academy setup and then made the switch to Ivory Coast last year. Did you ever have a, Rufus, in your playing days where you played under a manager twice but for different clubs?
No, I didn't. I think it's always interesting when a manager goes for a player that he's worked with, and that player obviously wants to play for that manager again. So they've obviously got a good connection, and it can only work. Looks really, really good.
Especially as the fact that he obviously trusts Kilman. He gave him the captain's armband at Wolves, so I'm sure he'll be happy with his leadership selections.
Yeah, and again, he knows the way that Lopetegui will want to play. Obviously, a possession-based football, and that's what West Ham are looking to do this season.
Paqueta already showing off his skills. He just tries a nice touch into his colleague. Emerson looked to have fouled the Celta Vigo player in Iago Aspas, of course, known in England for his stint at Liverpool, signed by Brendan Rodgers back in 2013 and played there for just 2 seasons before switching back to Spain. Now finds himself at Celta Vigo, club that he actually started out at 141 league goals in 307 games. Iago Aspas never really went well for him at Liverpool.
But he's someone that's got great experience as well.
Absolutely, 37 years of age, one of the older players on the pitch, if not the eldest. Here's Koufal as they have an opportunity down the right flank as he manages to weave his ball into the box. It's dealt with well there by Celta Vigo. That's a smart touch into the direction of Bamba, and here's a good opportunity here for Celta Vigo. On the counter. Just tried to cut in, but there was Rodriguez doing his first bit of defending.
Looks dangerous down that left-hand side. Celta Vigo with Bamba, he's got pace. Just got to be a little bit wary when they're coming forward, West Ham. As we saw there, very nearly got caught on the counter.
Of course, Koufal does like to get forward, but I suppose that does then allow room for Bamba to run in behind, and there he did manage to exploit it. Wasn't able to execute anything from that. Yeah,
and it's the case of the centre-halves. If your full-backs do go forward, it's a case of centre-halves just slipping over.
Here they come again, Celta Vigo, as that's almost through the legs of Souček, but they deal with it well through Kilman. Put us in a tight bit of room. And this looks like a brilliant opportunity. It falls to Iglesias. First shot on goal, and Areola passes the assignment.
Yeah, big opportunity there for Celta Vigo. It's Kudos who just got a little bit heavy touch and couldn't quite return and get the ball. It was a good effort there by the number 7 of Celta Vigo.
Of course, their 2 attackers in Borja Iglesias and Iago Aspas. Both previously started out at Celta Vigo, then went on their own individual journey to elsewhere. For Iglesias, he went to Real Betis and was of course on loan at Leverkusen in their remarkable campaign last year. Now he's back with the side that he started out at. The switch to Koufal's dealt well. Of course, it's a big season for Thomas Souček. They've made a good amount of signings in the middle of the park, West Ham, over the last couple of years, and Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, and now this time Guido Rodriguez. Where do you see him fitting in this upcoming season, Rufus?
Well, it's, he has been, he comes up with goals from some set pieces. I think it's going to be difficult, I feel, for him to start the season. But, you know, again, it's about being in the squad and having a good, solid squad. And I think West Ham have got that, especially in midfield.
Of course, you've become used to playing in Europe over the last few years. This season, no Europe, but certainly a side that looked like they could definitely challenge. The depth West Ham possess going into this season is rather frightening.
I think that's the success. I think if he can get back into the European...
And here's an opportunity, and it's a goal! Mid-sentence from Rufus, but Bowen slots it home in the opening 6 minutes here.
And again, it was Paqueta who's looked quite lively with his little flicks and tricks, but again, it was a fantastic ball over the top of the Celta Vigo defence, and Bowen made a brilliant run. Again, you were looking to see, did he go too soon, was he offside, but he timed his run perfectly to just collect that pass from Paqueta, and he just slides it under the goalkeeper. A brilliant finish, and again, a great start from West Ham.
Unbelievable link-up play. Paqueta and Bowen, and of course Jarrod Bowen coming back from England, now wearing the captain's armband. That's a great way to start his tenure as West Ham captain.
Yeah, it is, and you know, he's been brilliant since he's been at West Ham. He really has, and he really does deserve the captain's armband, and again, he's showing great ability there.
Well, that's exactly what Julian Lopetegui would have wanted. An early goal, link-up play between two very important players for West Ham. Paqueta's looked lively every time he's got on the ball. He's got an eye for a great pass as well.
And every time he gets the ball, he's looking to make things happen, especially in the final third. You know, and again there, and they've got a great understanding as well, both the players, and Antonio as well. It's really good understanding with the front three.
Well, that will please West Ham. Celta Vigo have looked okay going forward at times. Still early on, haven't seen much of what they've got to offer, but like you mentioned, Rufus, Jonathan Bamba down that left-hand side, he looks like one of the danger men for Celta Vigo. That could be causing West Ham a few issues this afternoon. Yeah,
that's right, and you know, we spoke about the pre-season that West Ham have had so far, which has not been great, but you know, you look at the players now, they've got the goal, and it looks as though they're playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of belief as well.
Of course, West Ham today signing another centre-back, Jean-Claire Tobido. What a signing he is, and what a signing he could be, Rufus.
It's a great signing to get that over the line, because you know, you had other teams that were after him. I think Man United, Juventus were probably after him as well, and he's come to the London Stadium, so that's a great signing. And again, great competition as well, you know, in the back four.
Adding to that depth nicely, known as a strong tackler, elite reader of the game, brilliant distributor of the ball, Jean-Claire Todibo. He actually helped Nice reach the Coupe de France final in 2022 and found himself in the side that got into the quarter-finals of the Conference League. Now with the side that knows how to win this competition, or that competition, one that they'll look to try and get back into at the end of the season. So far, Areola doing well every time he's been asked a question from the Celta Vigo attack.
Yeah, a very dependable goalkeeper, Areola. You know, he's come in and he had a loan spell at Fulham. He's come into this West Ham team, and he really has looked very capable.
Of course, Lucas Fabianski getting older. He's still in and around the West Ham team. Where do you see his career unfolding, especially for the next season or so, whilst he's a West Ham player, Rufus?
Which one, sorry?
Lucas Fabianski.
Fabianski. Again, he's a player that's throughout the years has been brilliant for West Ham. Whenever he's called upon, he's been good. He's played in a lot of cup competitions last season. I think they've got two very good goalkeepers, and like I say, in the Premier League, that's what you want.
Well, that's the topic of discussion at the moment about West Ham's depth. Every position we mention, it feels like they've got at least two players that can fill that role well. So certainly West Ham are coming up to a really exciting season with the additions of the likes of Nicholas Füllkrug, Asensio Somerville.
And the secret is, when you've got a really good squad, is keeping them all happy, and I think that's the main thing. I think if they can do that and keep all the players happy and all, you know, going in the right direction, I think they've got a great chance this season, West Ham.
Of course, like you said, Lopetegui will have a job to try and keep everyone happy. That's where his man management will have to come in. Watching him in interviews, though, he speaks very well. He seems like a happy, cheery personality to be around, which I'm sure will factor into the positive moods in the West Ham dressing room.
Yeah, and you know, if you've got a manager who you want to play for, and I'm sure Lopetegui's instantly, he'll have the respect of the players, and you can see it with the play now. They've got to enjoy the play and obviously work hard for each other, and I'm sure that he'll demand that.
And what would you say are the two biggest differences from the football we saw with David Moyes now compared to what you think Julian Lopetegui will bring in? What do you think are the two or the biggest differences?
I think it's possession football. I think we've seen so far what we played 11 minutes, and West Ham, especially at the back, they've looked really comfortable on the ball, and I think that's the main thing, having possession of the ball, working through the thirds and being aggressive in the final third when they get there.
So just trying to feed it through to Kudus. There looked like a glimmer of hope there as he just managed to take it beyond Starfelt, the number 2 for Celta Vigo.
Every time Paqueta gets on the ball, he's looking to make something happen, as we saw then again. Tried to play that ball through to Kudus, didn't quite come off. But yeah, he's going to be big for West Ham this season, I feel, Paqueta.
All of them, really. Wow. Kudus as well, scored some exceptional goals last season. It's a goal against Manchester City on the last day of the season with that overhead kick.
Yeah.
Certainly a player that likes to show off his skills, just like his colleague Lucas Paqueta, who of course got the assist for Jared Bowen's opener.
You see there, they're pressing really high upfield as well, very nearly nick the ball high up and then to start the attack off. Yeah, it's looking good so far for West Ham.
So far, based off what you've seen from West Ham in pre-season, what would you say they're doing differently today?
I think they're just obviously possession of the football, like I've said, and pressing high and being aggressive, as we've seen there. They're not waiting for Celta Vigo to get into, you know, the final third of the pitch before they start pressing. They're looking to nick the ball high up the pitch.
Yeah, another short pass there. Just showing that West Ham are enjoying the ball now.
It's having the confidence to do it as well, and they've obviously got the confidence from the manager, and they're, you know, it's really, really good at the minute.
Very impressive. Jared Bowen's goal in the 6th minute is what separates these two sides. Of course, that'll really please West Ham fans to see him come back from England duty. We were saying as well that the schedule is really, really intense for those that have gone away to the European Championships. They have 2 weeks off and then they come back, but so far Bowen's looked like that break was more than enough, really.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, I mean, he's come back. He wouldn't have done a grueling pre-season because he won't have to. He'll be naturally fit anyway. So just to top up the fitness levels and obviously get a bit of game time in him as well, because, you know, this, as we say, the season starts next week.
Jared Bowen with 20 goals last season, already getting this season off underway in this Betway Cup fixture as West Ham work it well. Here's Kudus, Antonio getting into the box. First touch from Bowen, just unable to be kept under his spell. It gifted it away briefly, but they win the ball back, and once again Paqueta trying to link up with Bowen.
Every time the ball gets forward now from Celta Vigo, it's not being held up, it's just coming straight back. West Ham just controlling things at the minute.
With their two Governor Generals in midfield, Souček and Guido Rodriguez. Very built midfield, that is, in terms of height, physicality. Then, of course, you've got Edson Alvarez, who actually signed for West Ham a year ago today.
I mean, you look at that again. He's someone that I completely forgot about, Alvarez, and he's a fantastic player. So this depth of this team, like we've said, very, very impressive.
All in the peaks of their career, towards the later stages of their 20s and their 30s. So they're here to start, they're here to play. So far Guido Rodriguez is enjoying that midfield role, but Celta Vigo looked to have opened the scoring, but I think the West Ham players knew that that was offside. Did you, Rufus?
Yeah, straight away, and I think the player that controlled it, I think he literally knew that he was offside. Played a lazy pass there to the left-hand side, scored the goal, but yeah, flag went up straight away.
Number 21, Mihajlo Ristic, involved there. Here's just a replay. It's that diagonal run made by Iglesias, or in fact it was Jonathan Bamba.
Yeah.
In the offside position, but West Ham come away with it. Have you found Emerson's time in a West Ham shirt? He's scored some important goals.
He has, and I think when he first came from Chelsea, he struggled a little bit. Creswell was the left back, but you know, last season he's been very, very good, especially as a wing back as well. I think he's, you know, going forward he offers something. But yeah, no, he's been good, been really good.
Strike against Bournemouth where he rifled it into the roof of the net. Bowen just tries to come away from Bamba, but Celta Vigo keep the ball, and now they're doing what West Ham have been doing to them and just passing it around nicely, but that final ball's poor.
Yeah, they look to play decent football, Celta Vigo, but you know, if you let them play, they've got the players that can hurt you, but West Ham are closing the spaces down really well.
Here's the goal. What an assist. One of the best you'll see all year.
Yeah, I think the Celta Vigo centre off, I think he thought he was going to get a little head to it. And it just went to Bowen, who had a very, very good first touch and slid it under the goalkeeper.
That'll be promising to see, two players just linking up with one another effortlessly. They really are on the same page. There's Koufal in an onside position. He has time to put in a ball. Antonio just snatches at it, but here's Kudus across the face of goal. It looked like it was going to nestle into that top corner, but West Ham's danger man from last season just unable to find the back of the net there.
Yeah, and a swing shot from Antonio, and Kudus tried to hit it across the face of goal. It did look as though it was going to nestle into the top corner, like you say, but it went wide and out for throw-in.
He went for glory there, his eyes lit up. Antonio was in a fairly good position. Do you think he should have made the pass, Rufus, or do you not blame him for going for goal there?
I think you know, when you're a striker, you're gonna you know, have faith in yourself to try and hit the target, and he tried, probably the wrong option there, but you know, it's pre-season, he had a go.
It doesn't matter, the stakes aren't too high. Of course, it is the Betway Cup fixture, so they'll want to win that, West Ham.
And again, it's like you say, it is the Betway Cup fixture, and it goes to penalties if it's a draw. So you know, they'll be wanting to finish this in normal time.
Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, do subscribe to the West Ham YouTube channel if you haven't already. Of course, West Ham today have released their third kit. Not only have they released the signing of Jean-Claire Todibo, but their third kit is out today and available in store and online. And of course, if you'd like to catch exclusive content on the Jean-Claire Todibo signing, then there will be a behind-the-scenes video on the West Ham YouTube channel tomorrow, plus loads more exclusive content coming for you this season, in a season That looks like it could be an exciting one for West Ham. Of course, no one really wants to get hopes up in pre-season, but there's no reason to, or not to, if you're a West Ham supporter. Of the players they've signed, Lopetegui is certainly a generous transfer window as his first. Here they come down this right-hand side, Celta Vigo. First real dangerous attack. Is it still kept alive? It's struck and it's 1-1. And it's Mihailo Ristic, the left wing back, that gets the equaliser. What do you make of that one, Rufus?
Yeah, again, it was a ball that played across the face of the goal, and it wasn't really defended well from West Ham. And it went out to the left back, who hit it low and hard under the goalkeeper, who tried his best to keep it out. It went under him. It was a decent strike, and it's 1-1.
Well, there was lots of room for him in the box there to think about what he was going to do. Of course, in the end, he just decided to put his foot through it. It was a poor-headed clearance, it has to be said. I think the deflection, of course, may help matters for Celta Vigo here.
Well, it's a decent ball right across the face of the goal. And there's Mavropanos so it's Kufal that went in there and couldn't quite get his head to it to clear it. Went to the left back, who hit it low and hard. Really good finish.
Went through the legs, I think, of Guido Rodriguez, in fact, which may have just taken it away from Areola's direction. Celta Vigo won't care. They've got the equaliser here, and after what was a strong start from West Ham, they've been set back by the wing back, Mihailo Ristic.
I think West Ham will still keep doing what they've been doing, the way they've started the game. You know, keeping possession of the ball, controlling the game, getting the ball to Paqueta. That won't change anything.
Of course, fortune did go their way, but now they're looking to try and hit back at Celta Vigo's equaliser. Guido Rodriguez seen a lot of the ball, so is that man there, Paqueta. Does love those outside of the boot passes in behind, aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, he loves the no-look pass as well. He's got that in the locker.
And of course, from one Brazilian to another. Louis Guilherme, signed, of course, one of the earlier signings of this window. 18-year-old Brazilian midfielder, touted as a future star. Of course, he was signed for 25.5 million, a lot of money for an 18-year-old, even in this day and age, Rufus.
No, it is, and you know, he's coming into a very, very difficult league in the Premier League, but I'm sure, you know, he'll be up for it.
He's played for the Brazilian youth sides, under 17 and 20, won the under 20 South American Championship title, which of course secured the Brazil under 20 side a World Cup spot, their first time in 8 years. So he's got pedigree for Brazil at the youth level. The next step is to join his colleague Paqueta in the senior level. And West Ham, a good place to grow, don't you think, Rufus?
Yeah, it is. It is. They've got, you know, if you look at the academy, is renowned for being very good and having good players in there, and you know, the young players, he'll get a chance at this football club. So, you know, with Paqueta as well to nurture him, I think it's a good signing. But they're just having a little break here for drinks.
We only see that a couple of times a year when it gets to this stage in England. Rare heat that these players are having to deal with. Not for Celta Vigo, mind you. West Ham, after a great start, Jarrod Bowen in the 6th minute opening the scoring. But that assist, unbelievable. To spot that with all the bodies in front of him, Rufus.
And the weight of the pass as well, you know, the chip to miss the defender. And Bowen, his first touch was great, really was, and set up his chance.
So it was just some flawed defending there from West Ham, unable to clear that ball as it was played in nicely from Carrera down this right-hand side. Just underneath Areola.
Yeah, sloppy defending from West Ham there. Really was. Again, it was a decent ball across the face of the 6-yard box. Landed to the left back, who hit it low and hard, power. Even the keeper with absolutely no chance, really.
Of course, West Ham have signed another goalkeeper this summer, Wes Fotheringham. Rufus, what do you make of him? An experienced goalkeeper on a free transfer. That's not bad business, you think?
No, it's not. You know, you need 3 good goalkeepers, and he's come in, and I think it's a decent signing.
Tall frame as well in the goal for West Ham. And of course, he has still got Areola and Fabianski ahead of him, and he doesn't feature on the bench. Instead, it's Herrick, the young keeper. West Ham just trying to get a feel with the ball again after that drinks break. Did a lot of Guido Rodriguez and Thomas Souček on the ball. Still yet to see much of Kudus. Of course, he had that one opportunity where Antonio was in the box, but of course he went for goal, and it was wide in the end. He's yet to come alive in this game, but I'm sure when he does, Celta Vigo will have some problems. Here he is, on the ball. Kufal on the overlap as the goal scorer Ristic is onto him. Kudus has opened up some room, but that's good goalkeeping from Villar.
Yeah, it was good goalkeeping. He spotted the danger, came off his line really quick, as Kudus just tried to come inside, get it on his left foot, but the goalkeeper read it and was right at his feet to just get the danger out the way. Good goalkeeping.
Kudus, when he does get the ball in the box, he always looks like he can make something happen.
Yeah, and he's playing more central as well, comes off the wide and goes central.
Herrera down this right-hand side. And Keogh, of course, you'll know a bit about West Ham. After his time in England, originally at Liverpool, then of course went to Sunderland. Under David Moyes, of course, in that 2016-17 season. Although he may not want to remember that campaign for Sunderland, but then went to Newcastle, where he made more of a name for himself in the Premier League. They got promoted in 2017. And of course finds himself back at Celta Vigo.
Yeah, he's got good experience of the Premier League and English football. I'm sure he'll want to show what he can do.
Lovely touch there from Bow as he tries to spot the run of Antonio. Of course, Nicholas Füllkrug on the bench to come on. Him and Antonio, what would you say are they like together? Would you say they're fairly similar? Are there any differences that you can notice?
Well, they're different players, aren't they? You know, Füllkrug is big, strong, likes balls to be whipped into the box, whereas Antonio is more of a playing on the last defender and spinning in behind, using his pace. So, you know, he's different player. You know, I'd like to see them play together, but whether that happens, we'll wait and see.
It's quite rare now, it feels, in football, where you have 2 strikers starting, with all the new ways in which the tactics have made such an impact, inverted wingers, all these new phrases that have come around. What was it like in your playing days? Of course, did you ever come across teams that would just play the 1 striker, or did you notice that it was typically 2 every time?
I think with me it was typically 2. You did have the odd time if, you know, you was playing a team and they wanted playing a team at home and they wanted to keep it really defensive, where they'd just stick the 1 up front. But now, like you say, it's a lot more common to have the 1 up front and have players running in off him. So yeah, it's just the way that football has changed.
The birth of that number 10 role. You can see.
Well, you even have the false number 9 as well.
False 9. There's so many phrases. Keep it simple. West Ham have a free kick, and that's a long shot. Of course, West Ham So good at set pieces under David Moyes. So I think Lopetegui will try to continue.
Yeah. I know he's not on the pitch, but Ward-Prowse is obviously key to that as well with his delivery. But you've got players like Paqueta as well that's got great ability as well. So you've got players all over the pitch.
Of course, and Bowen with that left foot.
Yeah.
Emerson. There's a new look backline really for West Ham now, of course, with the departure of Ogbonna, Thilo Kehrer, and now it's looking likely that Zuma's on his way to the UAE.
Yeah.
So it'll fall on the shoulders of Kilman and Mavropanos, and of course Jean-Claire Todibo. Kudus trying to spot a player in claret and blue in the 6-yard box. It will be another corner kick. In fact, the first corner kick of the game for West Ham.
It's brilliant play from Kudus there. You know, he just gets it as a touch, skips past the Celta Vigo defender. He's driving into the box. Can he pick someone out? He's looking. It just got cut out at the near post.
Well, we're just talking about their set pieces, and Jarrod Bowen's left foot now has the duty to put in a delivery this time, and it finds the back of the net, but it's offside.
And it's Paqueta who just wandered a little bit past the defensive line, just straight offside there. And it was Bowen. It's a decent out-swinging corner. And again, yeah, he's just stayed, didn't quite come out with the Celta Vigo defence, stayed in there, and it's a good couple of yards offside.
The only player that was almost keeping him on was Javier Manquillo. It was the touch from Mavropanos that put it into the direction of Paqueta, but of course he was in an offside position. That's 2 offside goals now, one for West Ham, one for Celta Vigo earlier on. Of course, 2 actual goals. Jarrod Bowen in the 6th minute, which was then cancelled out by Ristich's goal. Can Celta Vigo get a second? Areola off his line as Diego Aspas tried to get the better of him.
What a chance that was. Again, Aspas just sneaks in behind. You could see what he tried to do, just lift it over the goalkeeper, and I think if he had got the height on it and the target, the goalkeeper's in no man's land, so he would have scored. Just didn't quite get the technique right, and it goes wide of the post.
In between Kilman and Mavropanos, would you say they should be more onto in that situation, or was it really good work from Diego Aspas?
Well, he's got in between. You know, if you're a centre half and you're a 2, you don't want to get split, and I think he did that. He got in between them, and it was a decent effort.
Areola just using his head to clear it away, albeit it is a free kick for West Ham. There's Borja Iglesias, yet to make any real impact on this game after signing Bayer Leverkusen. Mavropanos. Kufal been fairly stop-start in the last 10 or so minutes. Various offsides and the like. Of course, the first 20 minutes, felt like it was all West Ham with the possession. The game was flowing nicely. It's just been paused a few times in the last 10 or so minutes. Paqueta. Nice link-up play with Antonio. Oh, exquisite! Lucas Paqueta. Take a bow, first the assist, now the chip. 2-1 West Ham.
That's an absolute brilliant goal. It really is. And Paqueta, we've said that he's literally controlled the game from midfield. If he wants to quicken the game up, he does with a quick pass. You know, and if he wants to slow it up, he can do that. And it was good play there. He's played a no-look pass, collects the return. And as the goalkeeper's coming out, just a death chip over him, as you see there. He just starts it with a no-look pass, gets the return, third man run, and just slips it over the goalkeeper. That's brilliant, brilliant goal.
That's absolutely exceptional. A delightful goal to see, and the fact that West Ham are playing this kind of football, this really is making a statement to the Premier League of what could be to come. And Jarrod Bowen didn't really get the mention in that build-up play there, but what a pass that
Yeah.
was in such a tight area.
Well, he's been doing that no-look pass into Antonio, lays it off to Bowen, and again, Paqueta just continues his run, collects the third man run, and just chips it over the goal. It's a brilliant team goal, really is.
Team goal of the highest order as West Ham have a spring in their step to try and get a third. Kudus, Bowen, what a save that is from Villa. Two brilliant saves made by the Celta Vigo number one.
I mean, you said that what's the difference that West Ham are doing now? They're closing high up the pitch, and as we saw, they're nicking the ball high up the pitch, and all of a sudden you're running into the final third, and Kudos just plays a decent ball across the face of the goal to Bowen, who has a shot. Keeper saves it, and I'm not too sure what the Celta Vigo players are moaning about here to the referee.
Pereira, there, the number 3, who's having words with the referee. Bowen strike with his weaker foot. Still a good one too, kept it on target, and now he has another chance to put in a ball. And it finds a West Ham head. It just hits the outside of the post. Cleared away by Celta Vigo quickly. It's nodded back into West Ham possession. Ruku foul to Paqueta. Really, Lucas Paqueta being a joy to watch this afternoon. West Ham fans will be extremely excited for the start of the Premier League. Funnily enough, for about the first 6 games, West Ham don't even leave London with how the fixture list works. Of course, at home to Aston Villa.
The Claret and Blue derby.
Claret and Blue derby it is. What a game. No wonder it's got the 5:30 slot. I'm sure that's what it'll be titled as next Saturday. And then, of course, Crystal Palace away, Man City at home. That completes August for West Ham. And then after that, Fulham away, Chelsea at home, then Brentford away. They don't actually leave London until Ipswich away in October, which is after the international break. Poor clearance as Celta Vigo tried to make the most of it. Bamba's brought down. Looks like it will be a free kick in a fairly dangerous area.
Yeah, and it was Kilman who just tried to play a dangerous pass really into midfield there. He gets cut out. I'm just seeing there where they hit the post from the corner.
Almost perfect. Brilliant delivery.
Yeah, it was Antonio in the end that got his head to it. Quite direct it between the posts.
What a player Antonio's been in West Ham colours since he signed back in 2015.
Yeah, it's been really good. You know, he's played out wide, he's played as a full-back, and now he's playing up front. Is really, really, really good.
Not for the kick from Diego Aspas, never troubling Areola. Over the frame of the goal. Just then, the header that hit the frame of the goal from Antonio. Would you say West Ham legend or cult hero?
Probably a cult hero, isn't he? He's come and he scored some really important goals for West Ham, and I think you know what you're going to get with Antonio. As long as he can stay fit, you know what you're going to get with him. He works extremely hard for the team. There's a proper team player.
There is Villar back in the side, of course. Didn't play the last game at Kenilworth Road. It's his colleague Mark Vidal, who finds himself on the bench here at the London Stadium. Of course, on the bench for West Ham, you've got exciting young players in Caelan Casey, Freddie Potts, George Earthy especially, someone I'm looking forward to seeing. Of course, covered him on a few West Ham under-21 games last season, and he always set it alight.
Yeah, well, he came on towards the end of last season. Not too sure what game it was, and he came on. I think it was his first touch he scored. But no, he looks a really, really good prospect.
Of course, there was a time I think he had got quite a nasty head injury at some point.
Yeah, he came on. I think that was in a European game where he came on and had a collision with his head, and I think he had concussion or something. But no, thank God he recovered from that.
What a talent he can be. It was in fact the goal against Luton to make it 3-1 when he came on and scored on May the 11th. A day he'll certainly remember. I'm sure Julian Lopetegui will have him in his plans. Of course, though, he has got a very strong side to compete with, George Earthy. But those opportunities can come around. Of course, you've got cup competitions, and the amount of games we play nowadays, I suppose with West Ham not being in a European competition, it may not be the case, but there will still be plenty of opportunity, won't there?
There will be, and it's about being patient, and when you do get your chance, you take it. It could all change for him.
All it takes is a couple of suspensions, and you could be eyeing up a first team spot. Celta Vigo just playing with the ball in defence. There's Manquillo. Pereira. Goodness, trying to take it round Manquillo. He slides in, but Goodus still comes away with the ball. Good work here from West Ham's number 14, but he's unable to beat the number 3, Oscar Mingueza. It's a smart transition here from Celta Vigo as they look lively here late on in this first half. Mavropanos having to stand his ground, forcing Celta Vigo back. Emerson trying to track the run of Aspas, but he pulls it across. It will be a Celta Vigo throw. Warning signs there, Rufus.
Yeah, there was again a little bit on the counter, but they recovered quite well. The West Ham get back behind the ball, and as the ball got played there to Aspas, he tried to play it across the face of the goal again, and it was Kilman that just got there to divert the danger.
Well, there's more danger here for Celta Vigo as Damian Rodriguez Souza finds himself with the ball. There's the goal scorer for Celta Vigo, Ristic. He loses out on the ball to Kufal.
Kufal's done well today. Well, the start of this game, this first half.
Got a great right foot for deliveries, that's for sure. Of course, got another target man now to aim for in Fulkrug, who's still yet to come on. Of course, the second half moments away now. Each side can make up to 11 substitutions in 3 goes each. Who would you like to see come on in the second half?
I would like to see, obviously, Somerville come on and Fulkrug. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing them two play, and even the young lads to give them a go. Like we've been talking about Earthy, but I'm sure there'll be wholesale changes.
Do you see maybe a change in formation, or perhaps like-for-like replacements, like Antonio making way for Fulkrug?
Yeah, I think more like for like. I feel, because they've set the formation out that they're playing today. I think they'll stick with the formation. It'll be probably like for like.
Well, West Ham with the ball in their final third. Kufal, Bamba onto him. So's Ristic. They get a throw. Of course, if you are watching at home, do make sure to subscribe to the West Ham YouTube channel. Like, comment. Tell us who you want to see to come on and who you feel could make a real impact on this West Ham season. Of course, under Julian Lopetegui. Coming back to the Premier League after his stint with Wolves, when he was asked about coming to the Premier League, he said it's the best league in the world. You notice that every other player says that as well. It's well known. It's a great advertisement for these Premier League sides to get in these crops of players like Jean-Claude Todibo.
Yeah, you see them. They all want to come and apply their trade in the Premier League, because it is the best league in the world. It really is.
Of course, Lopetegui said, why West Ham? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'm where I want to be, a big club with big potential. Of course, the London Stadium having its 8th season now. You're starting to see, you think, this is the West Ham potential. You're starting to see it come together. Of course, they've already won a European trophy, but you do feel that they can even go on to bigger things.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they're building for. Why they came to this stadium. They've doubled the capacity, and it's about doing it on the pitch now. And like they've done, they've won a competition over 40 years before they've done that. So they've just got to really build on that, and I'm sure Lopetegui will be the manager to try his best to do that.
Well, Celta Vigo with a late chance here. It's a good ball put in, but Areola meets the header and comes down to his left-hand side. But they've been playing in some good balls down this right-hand side, Celta Vigo. Yeah, they have, and again, you saw the centre-forward there just get in between the two defenders to get the head in, which will be a little bit of concern for the manager. You don't want your forward to get in between the two centre halves like they've done on a couple of occasions. Diogo Aspas proving to be a bit of a menace, and still yet to find himself on the score sheet. He's giving Kilman and Mavropanos a run for their money at times. Celta Vigo with another chance. Try and make something count. They play it safe. Able to find a ball forward. Here's Beltran spreading it out, trying to find Mingueza. Instead, Kudus will intercept.
They look really comfortable, West Ham. With and without the ball, really comfortable. Playing with a lot of confidence as well.
You'll see that from Guido Rodriguez, and that'll be one of the last touches of the first half. A good first half for West Ham, and it was that man there who got us off underway in the 6th minute as he latched onto the end of a beautiful ball played in from Lucas Paqueta. West Ham were then set back by a Mihailo Ristic equaliser, but it was that man there again, Lucas Paqueta, the provider of the first, became scorer of the second. It ends here after the first 45, West Ham 2, Celta Vigo 1.
Right, you lot, today's a big day because we know West Ham United is all about putting in the hard work, grafting for the bag.
Yes, let's have it!
And you've worked hard. Early starts, late finishes. Oh, I've seen it, tireless, selfless graft. We're not just cooking on the pitch. We're cooking off it too. And you do it all on your own, don't you? Well, not anymore. It's not just about the badge on your shirt. It's about what you wear on your sleeve and what that represents. Because this club don't exist without you. You pillars of the community. You champions of industry. You beautiful business owners. Now get out there and show me what you've got!
Pretty bubbled in, yeah. They fly so high.
Remember the glory. From the Academy of Football to the champions of Europe, where our players became giants of the game and changed it forever, wearing our famous claret and blue. 60 years on, we wear the pride, we wear the passion, we wear the history, whilst making our own. Wear the greatness.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Good. Very good, thank you.
Hello.
Still morning.
Good morning.
Eu falei, aí aquilo ali, sua cara e eu, pá!
Mas você não fala assim, não fala português. Hey guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Kick out, open, running back. They're staying back. And one progressive run to the line. Come on. Good. After 6 boxes, change the road. Two times each. Lateral, Max, lateral. Yes, yes, yes. Lateral, Chris.
Good.
Right to top.
Good.
Go, Max.
Oh, good.
Intensity a little bit. Yes. Yes, I know. It's very small, but a lot. Very good game. Very good. Very good. Nice. Good place. Good place. Stop. Good game, mate. All in, eh? All in. Use your touch. Let's go. Can do any touch. Good, Mo. Have a look where you are, lads. Come on, keep a bit.
Come on, get the intensity. Come on, get your foot in. Can you? Go on, keep going, keep going. Don't be stuck in the middle, lads. Don't be stuck in the middle. Good, keep going. Come on, Emo. Can you? Run.
One more. Come on, don't stop. Go.
Good job, Lucas.
Let's get. Stay with him. Lucas, forward. Yeah, Lucas. I like it. Get something. Come again. Yes. Time. Go, Nick. Yes. Nick. Be ready, Yanni. Come inside. Oh my God. Go. Let's move.
Our London, real London, nobody stays a stranger. The Bow Bells, our London calling. More than just a place, the Cockney cool heard far and wide. Graft and dedication, together for the ride. Born here, raised or made here, this is home. Our differences unite us, wherever we may roam. Our spirit strong, our pride runs deep. In our London, it's our dreams we keep. Through highs and lows, we rise and shine. Beyond these streets, the Bow Bells chime.
Welcome back, everyone. The start of the second half is almost underway. Have just seen Nassif Gerd, coming on. And there are going to be a couple of substitutions for Celta Vigo. So that's a defensive change already there, Rufus.
Yes, the guards come on again, a decent player. Had trouble with a few injuries last season, and he'll be looking to have an injury-free pre-season and start the season really well.
Gerd looks like he's going to just slot in next to Maximilian Kilman, which suggests it's Mavropanos that's made way. And Fabianski back out on the pitch. Of course, he played the whole game against Crystal Palace last week. Areola had a decent first half when called upon. Yeah. He was there.
No, he did nothing wrong. Everything that he had to do, you know, he did really well. Didn't really have any chance with the goal that was scored against him. But again, he's had a decent 45 minutes.
There's Lucas Fabianski, brilliant goalkeeper, plenty of Premier League pedigree. He comes on to finish the game for the Betway Cup, which suggests, of course, it could be a tactical switch from Julian Lopetegui. Of course, this game would go to penalties if it is a draw. Lucas Fabianski, if I'm right, he's had a good record with saving penalties.
Yeah, no, he has. He's he's someone that's got a really good record saving penalties. But hopefully, West Ham won't want to come to that.
It was a brilliant first half in parts for West Ham. Their number 10, Lucas Paqueta, stealing the headlines.
And you see there, Ward-Prowse has also come on as well. So he's someone that will be looking to get involved.
James Ward-Prowse for the new season, of course, has switched his number from number 7 to number 8, more of a traditional central midfield number, which for some reason I always like to see anyway, but Somerville now takes the number 7, more of a winger's number as well, as you can tell. So, Souček. New Celta Vigo shirts around him, but West Ham try to work it down this left-hand side, and that's a lovely layoff from Antonio, but the reverse pass just a bit too much onto that.
Yeah, you can see what he tried to do, and Antonio worked extremely hard. Was never going to get onto the end of that pass.
Of course, West Ham's set pieces have looked dangerous in that first half. Now they add on James Ward-Prowse to come on. James Ward-Prowse, of course, I believe has come on for Guido Rodriguez. So the debutant, what did you make of him, Rufus? Of course, that's his first 45 minutes as a West Ham player at the London Stadium.
No, he looked good. He was really good next to Paqueta in the midfield there. Big, strong. Did nothing wrong, to be fair. I thought he looked good.
More to see, of course.
A lot more to see from him.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this West Ham team does this season. How they can kick on to break into those European spots on a consistent basis. There's no reason with that attacking threat they've got that they can't do that. Of course, they have changed up their defence. Ogbonna going, Kera going, Zuma almost going. So with the additions of Kilman and John Clare Todibo, you'd think with a good defence, with a good spine and that attack, this side could really do something special.
Yeah, they could. Like you say, the back line out and the midfield, I think, you know, he's got so many options. And with that, you've got players that know that if they don't perform, they're going to be out the team. So, you know, all round, I think it's good for West Ham.
The first corner of the second half, and it will be taken by the man that has just come on, Ward-Prowse. Punched away. He has a second chance to put in a delivery. Celta Vigo deal with it again. Ward-Prowse looked like he just was fouled there, but then So too Oscar Mingueza, the number 3 for Celta Vigo. Referee shown a yellow card. It was Beltran, the number 8, who went to go and have words. Whether that was a yellow card or dissent.
Yeah, I think it was for dissent, but I do like the way West Ham are, when they lose the ball in the attacking third hour, they try and get it back really quickly, and in doing so, they've forced a free kick there in what is a dangerous area.
The third set piece. Second half. And a Ward-Prowse delivery potentially.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit too far out for a strike on goal. You don't know.
Not with a player like James Ward-Prowse. You've seen him score absolute screamers from anywhere on the pitch, especially from a free kick. He has a chance alongside Paqueta. Does go for goal, and it wipes out part of the Celta Vigo wall. You could even hear the ball hitting the face.
Yeah, and it hit him on his head as he's jumped there to try and stop the ball, as you do when you're in the wall. It hit his head. He's gone down. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Bit of concussion, you could imagine. It actually looked like he was anticipating that header in a way. It was Manquillo, of course. Once at David Moyes' disposal, back in his Sunderland playing days. Finds himself just hitting the deck there following that Ward-Prowse set piece. Have you ever had that, Rufus, in your playing days? Did you ever have to go into the wall and that be your duty?
Yes, you know, it's not the best place to be in, but you do what you do if you're asked to be in the wall, and you be as big and strong as you can, and that's what he's done there, and he's caught one on his head. He looks okay. I think it's just going to be a drop ball here, is it, or will it be a West Ham ball? Because I think they were in possession, weren't they, West Ham?
Yeah, so it makes sense that West Ham are the team that keep the ball. Souček picking up on this right hand side. He felt Souček just around him. You could see what he was trying to do in the corner, just didn't quite go his way.
Yeah, he probably had a chance there. He could have put the ball in the box there, but he did. You saw what he's trying to do, get a free kick, a throw in the corner. It just came back off him, and it's a Celta Vigo throw.
Kilman just having to be aware of his surroundings there. And again, of course, Kilman with a slightly different career path than what most Premier League players have had when growing up. Of course, Kilman started off at Welling United, then went to Maidenhead, found himself at Wolves, now West Ham, so he went through the non-league system. Do you think that changes the way they approach the game or their mentality around the game, Rufus?
Yeah, I think you probably appreciate it more. You know, he's been down there, he's been in the lower leagues, and now that he's made the step up, and he's made the step up really well, because he's a very, very good player. And I think, you know, other players looking at it will think, you know, that there is a chance and there is a pathway. So, yeah, he's a credit to himself.
Certainly an inspiration, comes across very well in interviews, speaks well. No wonder Lopetegui saw him as a captain at Wolves, and I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised if the time was right, you'd see Kilman wearing the armband if required. Also an inspiration for those playing futsal. He played for England, the England futsal team from 2015 to 2018. So a player with an interesting CV, and rightly in the Premier League now. Lagarde trying to play the switch. Oh, Bowen with a lovely first touch, but he couldn't quite execute that pass. And Keogh back to the goalkeeper, but that's a poor clearance. If anything, pass, I suppose. West Ham win the ball back.
Nice to see Koufal and both fullbacks playing really high up the pitch.
As you get the two central midfielders taking turns to drop in to provide support for the back two. But here's an opportunity. Souček goes for the cross. It was a good cross too. Antonio was in the dangerous position. Thought he was going to shoot. You could hear the crowd.
Well, you know, it was, yeah, I thought it was lining up for him. He had a touch. I thought he tried to hit it low and hard across the goalkeeper, and he decided to just chip it over to the back stick.
What a ball that is. Played from Mingueza. Here they come. Celta Vigo, brilliant slide challenge there from Kilman. He had to be wary. His number 19, Williot Theo Swedberg, was onto that ball.
He just read the pass and he saw the run coming as well. Kilman just got across, slid down, stopped the ball from going into the box. Good play from the West Ham centre-half.
Yes, it was Swedberg who was onto it, the number 19. He's come on. Central midfield player. Swedish. He recently made his senior appearance for Sweden this summer in June. Something he would have been proud of, the 20-year-old. A corner, the first for Celta Vigo in this second half. And they try and make this one count. And to ensure Paqueta's okay before play resumes.
I think it was his ankle that he went over on. He just jogs back gingerly. I'm sure he'll be okay.
Such an asset for this football club. And today his first half performance proves just that. Now he's got some defending to do. The in-swinger, Fabianski, punching it away, commanding as well. Just slows down that Celta Vigo momentum. Well run back there by Paqueta, doing his defensive duties well, and here's Kudus. That is shirt tugged there by Iglesias, but he keeps the ball. Great work from Kudus there, Rufus.
Yeah, I think you see that all the time with Kudus. When he's running forward, he's very, very strong, really difficult to knock off the ball. And I think if he had lost it then, I think the referee would have blown up.
Again, one of the half-time substitutions. There's the other in Fabianski. Ward-Prowse just going in to help out. Being allowed time on the ball here, West Ham, and they managed to work that well nicely. Ward-Prowse had plenty of green space.
Yeah, he just pulled off his man. Ward-Prowse just found himself in a lot of space. Good possession play from West Ham.
Just trying to wait for an opening in this second half. You could see as they're enjoying the ball, and you mentioned in the first half, Rufus, that they look like they're confident with the ball, which is such a big part of possession football.
Yeah, it is. They're just keeping the ball, just waiting for Celta Vigo to probably come out so they can look to exploit the space that's left. Celta Vigo are just sitting in there at the minute.
Souček with a good switch out to Bowen as they just try to work something, West Ham. So they're just slowly but surely getting the ball further up the pitch, putting pressure on Celta Vigo. Emerson in plenty of room. Paqueta couldn't quite see him as he did have a body of players in front of him.
And that's where West Ham do really well. They lose the ball and get it back up the pitch.
And just see that, although they're passing it around and on the eye it may not seem like they're having an opportunity, they're still managing to work it up the pitch. And that's what they're doing here. Emerson on the inverted run, but it's a whip ball in. Souček there. And it's Manquillo who clears it away. All West Ham pressure. Good to see, Rufus.
Yes, it is good to see, and it's Antonio there on that left-hand side. Just a decent ball in the box. And Celta Vigo just struggled to get it away.
Iglesias trying to get stuck in, but Kudus comes away with it. Tries to pull it back.
Just needed someone to gamble that he was going to get the ball in the box then.
Kufal fouled. Oh, that's what West Ham believe, but play continues. Here's Swedberg. So they win the throw in Celta Vigo. Kufal having words with the referee from afar, as if to say, why didn't you blow the whistle there? But here is a moment West Ham fans have been waiting for since the announcement of his signing from Borussia Dortmund. It's Niklas Füllkrug who comes on to make his debut for West Ham at the London Stadium. He replaces Antonio, a like-for-like change there, as we mentioned, Rufus.
Yes, that's right, and Antonio's worked extremely hard. You know, it was 59th minute, and Füllkrug, I'm sure, you know, everyone's looking to see how he does. I'm really excited to see how he does as well.
He had a fairly successful summer with Germany on an individual level. Of course, he scored a goal in their 5-1 win against Scotland, and then actually, in fact, scored a last-minute equaliser in their final game against Switzerland to make it 1 apiece. Couldn't quite have that impact in the knockouts, but can he have an impact now once he comes on?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's someone that you've got to, you know, feed him, get the ball out wide, work on the ball, getting into the box, into good areas. I think that's when you'll see the best of him.
And half an hour to go. Füllkrug coming on for the remainder of this game. Even I'm looking forward to seeing a player of his pedigree coming on. 31 years old, in the later stages of his career, you could argue, but as we were mentioning, you do get a crop of players who sometimes do actually end up peaking in these years. So realistically, regardless of that age being over 30, this could be the peak time to buy him.
Well, it's a great opportunity for him as well, you know, to come to the Premier League, you know, to play for West Ham in this fantastic stadium. I'm sure he was itching to get on the pitch today.
The stadium as well is such a good part. It's such a big reason as to why players come. Of course, 62,000. It's not there just for a jolly. It's there to host serious European games, which is part of the West Ham plan. Of course, now you're starting to see these players come, talk about how West Ham are such a big side and big club as well. Füllkrug had a brilliant record at his club Werder Bremen, 45 goals in 90 league appearances. Of course, that's when he started to become noticed by the German national side. Played in the Qatar World Cup. Of course, the Euros, was the top scorer in the Bundesliga last year. 2022-23 season. Of course, not last year, that was Harry Kane.
Yeah. Season before.
Haven't really seen much of Celta Vigo in this second half. What do you make of that, Rufus?
I think it's West Ham really controlling the game, possession of the ball, not really giving Celta Vigo any opportunity to get in the game. They've had a couple of opportunities in the first half, but this second half, West Ham are completely controlled it.
This is exactly what Julian Lopetegui would want from his side going forward. This is how you win games. If they can't get the ball, how are they going to score? And this is what you're going to see from West Ham.
And I think it's harder to play without the ball because you're chasing the ball, and then when you get it, you've got tired legs and you give it back, and then it's just a repetition.
Done well. It can be a lethal tactic. Just then, 3 substitutions coming on for Celta Vigo. Off came Iglesias, one of the strikers. Of course, they signed from Real Betis. On comes number 24, Carlos Dominguez Caceres. Number 25, Pablo Duran Fernandez. And number 30, Hugo Alvarez. Alvarez, the 21-year-old midfielder, the youngster. And Celta Vigo throughout his career. Still yet to see any of the younger legs for West Ham so far. Do you think this would be a perfect opportunity to bring them on, or do you think maybe Lopetegui is more planning to bring on players that he can definitely see playing consistently in his first team?
I think that's the plan. I think a lot of the young players have had minutes this pre-season, but with the season so close, I think he'll be looking to to look at the likes of players that are going to feature.
What's that man there? Jared Bowen will certainly feature. He's just trying to chase Villar, but Celta Vigo managed to work it fairly well as they come away with the ball now. Good defending from Emerson.
He's improved that part of his game, Emerson. 1v1 situations. You know, we've seen him as a wing back, which is completely different to playing in a 4. 1v1 situations have been really good. It's really improved.
Good ball out there on that far side as it struck low, just glances past that far post. What do you make of the defending there? Do you think Emerson should have been further out wide?
I think as the ball was played out wide, I think he probably should have been on the move as the ball was going. The player took the touch and then he started to move forward, which was probably a tad too late. And a decent shot where it just went across the face of the goal.
Slight warning signs, but Celta Vigo unable to make the most of that opportunity. Fabianski with the goal kick to restart proceedings. Woman with the safety first approach, trying to find full crew. Looks like Souček's just in behind him. Because it's a fairly fluid midfield, would you say, with West Ham?
Yeah, it is. I mean, sometimes you'll see Paqueta dropping really deep to get hold of the ball as well. So a lot of movement, a lot of fluid in there.
And that's ideal for possession-based football. You need that. This is well worked here from Celta Vigo. It looked like he could have been in offside position. It does get deflected and it finds the back of the net. West Ham, after such a dominant performance in this second half, they concede a sloppy goal there, it has to be said. The goal scorer, Pablo Duran Fernandez, who just came on moments ago, finds the back of the net and it's 2-2.
Yeah, and again, it was a shot that just got a ricochet. It fell to the strikers, just come on. And it was a decent finish into the top corner. Well, again, it's just come out of nothing really again.
It was a cute layoff from their number 28, Rodriguez Souza, and it awkwardly fell for West Ham. Let's just have a look at this replay.
I mean, as the shot came in, it could really have gone anywhere. It's 2 ricochets.
Extremely unfortunate, and that's two goals for Celta Vigo that have come off 2 deflections.
That's right, and it's come off Souček, and then it's Kilman, is it, that it's come between his legs. It's a decent finish in the end.
It was well anticipated as 2. Well, on come 2 youngsters, one that knows West Ham very well, one who's about to get to know West Ham. George Earthy coming on, Lucas Paqueta coming off. What a first half he's had, unable to really make the same kind of impact in the second, but still set things alight. And that man there as well, Jared Bowen, who comes off for Crescencio Somerville, another player that West Ham fans are certainly looking forward to seeing in claret and blue, I'm sure, Rufus.
Yeah, that's right. He was very, very good at Leeds last season. Just fell away towards the end of the season as the team did, but he's a very, very good player. And George Earthy, you know, he's West Ham through and through. He'll be looking to make his mark.
Crescencio Somerville said that when he came to the London Stadium for Leeds, he ended up walking off the pitch and telling his dad and his partner that he was one day going to be playing at the London Stadium. He said he could just feel it, and now he's doing just that. But he oozes confidence as well, that you can tell from what he does on the pitch, but also what he says off it. He said to West Ham, expect a lot from me, watch and enjoy.
He's doesn't lack confidence, and that's the way he plays as well, and hopefully he can back it up.
West Ham's new number 7 will try to do just that, try to get the winner at the same time. As of this rate, it will be going to penalties. No extra time in this Betway Cup fixture, it's simply just penalties if it's still a draw after 90 minutes. Of course, they were dominating the ball in the first 15 minutes of this second half, but it just feels it's gone a bit stale now for West Ham.
Yeah, I think, they controlled the game. And I think that's what happens when loads of substitutions are made. I think you do lose that little bit of impetus that you had in the game, and it's about getting that back. And there's still enough time for them to make sure that this doesn't go to penalties.
Ward-Prowse now going to come on and try and make his mark, say something to Julian Lopetegui and make him aware that he's well and truly in the squad and that he shouldn't be looked over. Successful season in the Premier League too. Probably the standout player in that under-21 side, and it's a good under-21 side.
Yeah, it is. Really, really good. Some really good players in that team. And George Earthy is obviously one of the top ones.
Obviously got the likes of Patrick Kelly, Lewis Orford, who aren't on the bench today, but certainly players that look brilliant in that midfield down at Rush Green. Goodness. Into Somerville, can his first touch be an assist? Tries to get it on his right foot, Souček there. It was Somerville who looked so energetic just then.
Yeah, he did. Really sharp, really lively. Just tried to chip the ball over the top. Goes and gets a rebound, and I think if Souček keeps that down, he scores. Just gets under the ball, goes over the ball.
A couple of times now where West Ham have got the ball in a good position, and they've kind of gone for the unpredictable pass, let's say, that chipped effort. We saw it of Souček early on in this game where it looked like he could have had a shot on goal, but instead he tried to turn provider and whip a ball in.
Yeah.
So more substitutions made by Celta Vigo. Their number 6, Iliax, coming on. With 3 colleagues as well. So the number 15, Joseph Adu. Joseph Adu, the Ghanaian centre-back, 11 caps for his country. 28 coming on. 28-year-old coming on, sorry. Go into that back line. He was some unfortunate defending for West Ham. 2 ricochets that led to the second goal for Celta Vigo.
Replacing number 22, Javier Manquillo. Number 15.
West Ham just taking a chance to just have a little drink and a little chat with the manager as all these substitutions are taking place.
Quite a few. It looked like Emerson just walked to the bench there, whether that's to go and get another drink or have a chat with someone in particular. It may be that he's come off. We'll get confirmation.
Well, Creswell, you see Creswell there. I think he's come on, yes. It's hard to keep a track, isn't it?
When it's a drinks break, you've got enough players in shot, and then when you've got to work out who's coming on and off. That is right. Rufus was correct. Cresswell has come on for Emerson. Of course, you applauded Emerson for the way he's improved his game. What are you going to make of Cresswell in this season? Of course, I believe it's his 9th coming in.
Yeah, he's been a really good servant for West Ham, really has. And again, he's more of a... He can play centre-half in a 3, but he's more of a conventional left-back.
Of course, had a terrific West Ham playing career. Just signing from Ipswich in 2014. Actually, this is his 10th season in Claret and Blue. Comes on for the final 17 minutes here. Kudus. Challenged. He holds his left leg. He looks all good to carry on.
Yeah, just a late challenge there. Just caught his shin.
Have you been impressed with Kudus today so far?
Do you know what? I've seen him have better games, but when on the ball, I think you know what you're going to get. Again, he's a bit like Antonio, where you know he's going to work extremely hard and work hard and work back, and you've got that with him. Probably in the final third we haven't seen too much of him, but I'm sure, you know, that will come.
Gerd and Kilman, that could potentially be a centre-back partnership. Of course, still plenty more centre-halves at Lopetegui's disposal. Good switch out to that left-hand side. West Ham tried to get back into the lead for a third time. Getting the better of Mingueza. I think West Ham believe they should have had a corner there, and they do have a corner. It's a good run from Kudus, and he managed to get into the box. Couldn't quite take it past the second player, but got a corner, so they won't care.
Yeah, no, he did well. Again, he's 1v1, you know, when he's 1v1 he will try and go past the player. Again, as he tried to get the cross in, got blocked. Ward-Prowse with a corner.
Delivery into a dangerous area. Goes behind a Gerd. Somerville, when he gets on the ball, just looks so up for it. He'll run forward, and I just tell you, he's got such nimble legs.
Again, he's someone that wants to affect the game in the final third. Somerville.
Did you see much of him at Leeds, Rufus?
I saw a little bit. Saw a little bit of him, and he was always looking to me as an exciting player, and like you say, he has got a lot of confidence. But no, I like him.
Here come West Ham again down this right. Kudus taking it on the inside. Playing the switch after as he finds Cresswell. Almost got the better of the Celta Vigo player there, but it's kept alive by Earthy. Smart pass from Somerville. Fulkrug able to hold it up in the end, albeit it looked like he may have just lost the ball there. Here comes another opportunity for Kafal to put in a ball just in front of Fulkrug. Perfect opportunity, that you'd say, for Nicholas Fulkrug.
Yeah, it was a real, that's what he feeds on, Fulkrug, as a ball got played wide to Kufal. And he has a touch, and it's a great ball in there. So he doesn't have a touch, he just whips it in across the 6-yard box. Fulkrug's just a little bit late getting there.
Strong part of Kufal's game, that. So influential for the West Ham way of playing, or just in general when they get forward, when you've got a fullback who can possess that quality to just whip in a ball like that with, whilst making it look effortless, is something special.
Yeah, and both fullbacks as well have got forward in good positions today.
After a really quick start, it has been a fairly slow second half at points. Here's another opportunity as Mingueza manages to find his colleague on that right-hand side. Here's Rodriguez. Now Souza. Celta Vigo just trying to work it round. They're switching it quite a lot. 1 minute it's on the left-hand side, then the right-hand side. So far, West Ham's stubborn defending isn't really making them carve open a third goal. They've got a chance here, Rufus. Set piece.
Yeah, it was a good passage of play there from Celta Vigo. Just keeping the ball, moving West Ham from side to side, and then waiting for the tackle to come in. And it's a free kick just outside the box, with 20 yards, 25 yards. Decent opportunity.
West Ham have to be wary here after such a strong first half at points. Felt like they were going to be able to run away with it, the way some of the players were performing. Celta Vigo have an opportunity of their own. Fabianski happy with that one as he collects the ball.
Yeah, he set the wall up really well. Would have been some strike to beat him from there.
Would have even been difficult for Ward-Prowse, and that's saying something, as he came on at half-time. So far, what have you made of Ward-Prowse's second half performance? It hasn't been the most glamorous for West Ham, of course, but...
No, it hasn't, but, you know, on the ball he's done nothing wrong again. He's just kept the ball ticking over. You know, he's a good footballer, Ward-Prowse.
Brilliant signing a year ago. Of course, he'll be revisiting St Mary's this season. Every Southampton fan knew the writing was on the wall following their relegation, and a player of Ward-Prowse's quality would continue playing in the Premier League, and that was the case. Souček, of course, played every minute so far. Is he someone that you think will obviously be a starter going forward in the first team, considering the signings and the players available?
I think it's going to be difficult. There's so many players in midfield. When you look at Alvarez as well, he's to come back. There's a lot of players in that middle of the park that are looking to get involved. So I think it's going to be difficult for him to start, but he's done okay today. So the manager might think, you know, I'll give him a go.
Well, this is a good opportunity for Celta Vigo as they've got players towards that back post. Fabianski with the safe hands coming down to calmly collect that effort.
Yeah, it was safe hands, got down really well. You know, you've seen them as well where they've bounced off goalkeepers. But good hands to just make the ball stick to his gloves.
It's Fernandez who is trying to spot Alvarez. There are going to be two more substitutions for Celta Vigo as we just see them beyond the touchline on this near side. Carrera, the number 5, right back, looks to be coming on, as is Hugo Sotelo Gomez, to play the remainder of this game. It could even be a penalty shootout. Perhaps we'll start seeing players come on for that. Have you found Celta Vigo in the second half?
They've been compact. You know, they've done what they can. West Ham have controlled the game, but the last 10 minutes they've started to come back into the game. They've made a lot of substitutions, so a lot of fresh legs on there for Celta Vigo.
Almost a new look side.
Yes.
On the one that started. Diego Aspas has come off as well, and he was posing a real threat. He was really giving Kilman and Mavropanos a headache, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, with his clever little runs, playing in between them. But yeah, he was very good.
Of course, in a week's time, West Ham take on Aston Villa. That's when the points come into play. That's when the game's really up the intensity, of course. West Ham have some very special moments in this game so far, but just haven't been able to keep that momentum up. Of course, it is a lot to ask. See them control the ball in the early stage of the second half, but so far, since then, it's kind of become more of a 50-50.
Yeah, it has. It's evened up a little bit the last few minutes. But, you know, there's, 7 minutes to go. Can West Ham deny a penalty shootout?
Now, with the West Ham players, of course, Füllkrug, he'll being German and a striker, you can imagine him having an eye for a penalty. Any of the other players that you think would be stepping up to take one?
Ward-Prowse will take one. Kudos will take one. I think Souček will probably take one as well.
It's good work from Kudos. He manages to carve up an opening, but once again it's that final ball. Well worked by Celta Vigo. They open up room, but look at the chasing down from Cresswell and Somerville.
Yeah, you saw them there, and that's high up the pitch. They're closing the ball down, and you know, if they can nick it further up the pitch, then they've not got too far to go to the goal.
Well, here's a good opportunity again for Celta Vigo. Fabianski having to palm it over his crossbar. It looked like it could have caught him out there.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure the Celta Vigo player meant that, as he's got play to him on his right foot, on his left foot, sorry. And I think he tried to put it across the face of the goal, but he got it all wrong, and inadvertently very nearly scored.
I think it was Carrera with the strike. Typically a right back popping up on that left-hand side. Here's a chance for Hugo Sotelo Gomez to put in a delivery to try and get Celta Vigo a third. Missed kick there. It's still kept under his spell. The strike from Pablo Duran Fernandez, the player who scored Celta Vigo's second, trying to get a brace. Once again, Fabianski called upon, and he was there.
Yeah, it was a decent strike, low and hard. But again, Fabianski was equal to it.
Same with Areola in the first half. Of course, it has been 2 deflected goals. It has to be said that Celta Vigo have been the beneficiaries of. So far, you can't really fault the goalkeeping.
No. West Ham are really lucky they've got 2 real capable goalkeepers.
There's Herrick on the bench, just being in and around the first team. Will surely only benefit him, right, Rufus?
Yeah, it will, and you know, they're two real good professionals as well. Just to see how they train. I'm sure it can only make them better goalkeepers.
Finley Herrick was with the West Ham under-18s last season. And 18 earlier this year. What an experience this will be for him before their respective campaigns kick off. Again, Cresswell, Somerville. It's been a lively impact since he's come on, and he wins a foul well there.
Yeah, he has. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to take someone on, make something happen. As he was coming inside there, 2 players just clattered into him. He wins a free kick.
Agile players like him, of course, have to be wary. It's in their game to play like that, but when you do come up against these defenders and other professional footballers, you do make yourself a bit of a target.
Yeah, and you know, it's up to the referee to do their job and protect players like that.
Well, penalties are knocking on the door as things stand. Fabianski's long ball unable to find Cresswell. Really just pausing play.
Substitution for West Ham United, leaving the field number 14, Mohamed Kudus.
So Kudus coming off for the other new boy, Louis Guilherme, the Brazilian who has his first taste of life at the London Stadium and for West Ham. I'm sure you and many West Ham fans are excited about this prospect, Rufus.
Really looking forward to seeing him. You know, a Brazilian, an attacking Brazilian player. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing him. It hasn't got long. But Kudos certainly won't be taking a penalty now, as I predicted.
It could fall on the young shoulders of the 18-year-old. Here he is, just trying to get stuck in. The number 17, fairly tall frame as well.
Yeah.
He's a physical player for someone just 18 years of age. Again, trying to win it back, but Souček does so. Kufal, Kilman and Souček are the players who started the game and are looking to see out the full 90 minutes. Souček getting stuck in. Brilliant work. That's what he does best, isn't it?
Yeah, he does. He breaks things up. He's had a decent game today.
Usually found in the box to get on the end of a West Ham delivery. He's pretty good at putting those away as well. Just under 40 seconds left. A stoppage time, of course. Here's Guillaume. Kilman as well, of course, with the signing of Jean-Claire Todibo. Do you see Kilman as a starter for this upcoming season?
I think Kilman will start. Again, with the formations, he could go with 3 at the back, play the 3. But, he's got options, certainly got options.
Of course, he favoured a back 3 or 5, if you like, against Crystal Palace, where Cresswell played as that left centre half. The 2 minutes added on. Nico Füllkrug unable to make an impact on this game so far since coming on. I suppose he hasn't really had the service at all points. Nice layoff. Could this be a great goal? It was a good effort. Alphon trying to find the back of the net, but he just sliced it.
Yeah, it was a brilliant effort. As it came up to him, he tried to hit it on the volley. Probably be better to go across the goalkeeper. Went for the near post and went wide of the post.
Well, that'll be relief for West Ham. They want to end their pre-season on a winning run. I mean, you said before, of course, you've been in part of pre-seasons. It's not always the be-all and end-all, but what do you think it does if you end the pre-season on a win?
I think it's just your confidence going into the last game, and I think not so much on a win, but on a good performance. And I think they'll look at this performance today and be like, quite pleased in the steps as they've taken.
Celta Vigo in the first half had a couple of good transitions where they looked to try and counter West Ham. Like we said, it's been fairly 50-50. They haven't really sat back and just let West Ham pass it around the edge of the area. They've got an opportunity to score a late goal. It's a firm delivery. Earthy trying to keep it under a spell, but it's an awkward first touch. Good pressure. It's an ambitious effort from Ward-Prowse.
Yeah,
he tried to hit it on the half volley.
Yeah, it was. It bounced up for him as he came in to receive the ball. He's just got in there, had a good touch. It's just bounced up for him. Probably stood up a little bit too high. Couldn't quite get a connection on it. Goes wide of the post. It's probably the last kick of the game.
So the penalty shootout is all but on its way to end this Betway Cup fixture. This is the first Betway Cup since 2021. And that is it, full time. West Ham 2, Celta Vigo 2. Only 1 goal in the second half, scored by Pablo Duran Fernandez. So, overall, that 90 minutes, Rufus Brevitt, sum it up, please.
Really good. I thought with Paqueta in there in the first half, I thought West Ham controlled the game. Two deflected goals that they conceded, but the goals that they scored were good. And I think, to end the pre-season, obviously it's going to be a penalty shootout, but I thought the performance was very, very good.
Especially in that first half. Lucas Paqueta really stole the show, linking up with Jared Bowen. It feels like a long time since we saw them on the pitch, It has to be said. But players who, of course, had successful seasons last year on an individual level for West Ham, they look like they've only but improved. Of course, going forward, out of the new signings, of course, you had Guido Rodriguez, Maximilian Kilman. Out of those two, how influential do you think they will be for this upcoming season?
I think they'll be big. I think they'll be big for West Ham. Big personalities as well. And I think Max Kilman, obviously the manager knows from Wolves. Good defender, can play with his feet. Good passing out from the back. And Rodriguez is big. it's just, you know, it's just what you need in the Premier League, where the hustle and bustle, and he can calm things down and have the other side to the game as well.
And then, of course, you had Somerville come in. He looked lively at points. Didn't really see him as much on the ball, but I suppose that is because he did come on it fairly late.
That's right. That's right. And again, you know what he's going to do. He gets the ball, looks to make things happen, runs with the ball, buys fouls. But no, I think he's going to be a good asset for West Ham as well.
Exciting player. Of course, Fulkrug and Louis Guillaume came on. Surprised about Louis Guillaume's stature. Big physical guy for his age. I wonder if he'll step up and take a penalty. Of course, no Jarrod Bowen on the pitch. They have got Fulkrug, who I can imagine fancying his chances. Of course, that ends the game 2-2. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the West Ham YouTube channel. Give the video a like, or even comment who your player of the match was. Was it even one for Celta Vigo? Of course, their 2 goal scorers, Mihalio Ristic, Serbian left wing back. He got Celta Vigo's day underway with that strike in the first half. And then Pablo Duran Fernandez, who got their second equaliser. And of course, third kit is out today, available in store and online. And on top of that, Jean-Claude Todibo, behind the scenes exclusive footage of him signing coming up tomorrow on the West Ham YouTube channel. Loads more exclusive content this season, so this is just the start of what should be an extremely exciting campaign for the 2024-25 season for the Hammers. It'll start with a penalty shootout, albeit we've already had a 2-2 draw. It falls on the shoulders of Cresswell to get this penalty shootout underway. He's got a fairly magical left foot.
Yeah, he's got good technique, Cresswell. He steps up.
And he scores, sends the keeper the wrong way. A precise penalty into that bottom left corner.
Good confident penalty from Cresswell. Cresswell not been on the pitch that long. And hits it to his left, goalkeeper's right. Keeper dives the wrong way.
That's an opportunity for Celta Vigo. It's their turn, and it's Iliax, their number 6, taking his time, looking at the ball before he decides where to go. Up against Lucas Fabianski, who came on after half-time, maybe with penalties in mind. He's got a good record of saving penalties. Can he save this one? Yes, he can.
Yes.
Guesses the right way.
He does. I'm not too sure about this run-up, a little skip just before he took the shot, and Fabianski completely just read it and dived to his right. Good save.
Now up steps James Ward-Prowse, who came on in that second half. Couple of corners here and there. There's a chance to make it 2-0 and really lump the pressure on Celta Vigo. So technically their new number 8 fires it into the back of the net. What a penalty, Rufus.
Yeah, that's a great penalty. I think 2 keepers don't save that. Hits it really hard. The pace has beat the keeper before he's even dived. Fantastic penalty.
Just another look here. I feel like I went the right way. So, Celta Vigo must score this if they want to increase their hopes of winning. Hugo Alvarez. And Fabianski make it 2 saves in 2. He can't. That was a good penalty. Firmly into that left corner.
That's a great penalty. It really is. Really firm and hard into the into the corner.
Great technique. And even if a keeper did dive that way, I don't think he'd have got to it.
Yeah, I think the pace beats him.
So, Thomas Souček, one of only 3 players who played the whole 90 minutes. So it looks to be a fairly straight run up until now. Ooh, calm penalty. Slotting it into the roof of the net.
Yeah, I think it went down the middle as well. The goalkeeper dived. Good penalty.
How many penalties did you take in your career, Rufus?
I took 2.
2. And how did they go?
50%.
50%.
Scored 1, missed 1.
And what was the pressure like?
Quite. Yeah. Pressure.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Well, you dealt with half the pressure well. So, Celta Vigo up again. And it's a good penalty. Replica almost of Thomas Souček. So it's 3-2. West Ham getting closer to this Betway Cup win. Did you ever take a penalty for West Ham?
No, I took one my early days at Doncaster.
Okay.
And I took one 9/11 actually. 9/11 we played Rochdale away when I was at Fulham. That was a penalty shootout.
Well, here's the new man, Fulkrug. Can he show his penalty ability in front of this London Stadium crowd? He can't. Saved by the goalkeeper. It was a good height, wasn't it?
It was a good height, and he took a little bit of a stutter. The goalkeeper, he's guessed right. It's a good hand to it. Not quite in the corner, but a good save from the goalkeeper.
Props to Villar there. Celta Vigo given an opportunity from Fulkrug to make it level. It's Alfon. Steps up. Oh, what a penalty that is, my word. Roof of the net to a T.
Well, I think it's a one step, and he's had a look at the goalkeeper. See there, he's had a quick look, and he's just absolutely buried it into the top corner. That is stanchion.
That is an ultimate penalty if you've never seen one. If you've ever seen one. So, it's again to keep West Ham's hopes alive. Good penalty. Low along the floor, but precision.
Really, really good. Again, the goalkeeper guesses the right way, but just couldn't get there. Good penalty from Agerd.
Often I find centre-halves are usually some of the better penalty takers out of the players. I think they've got a don't worry attitude of just absolutely hammering it into the back of the net, which on target
goes in
every time. And again there, very good penalty. So Celta Vigo, are they going to keep their hopes alive and take it to sudden death, or are West Ham going to win it? Just goes beyond Fabianski, and it finishes 4-4 out of the 5 penalties for each side.
Yeah, Fabianski goes the right way.
Carlos Dominguez Caceres with a really good penalty. We've seen some great penalties on show in this pre-season game, and now it's going to be the turn of Maximilian Kilman, one of the debutants at the London Stadium. Good penalty down the middle.
Yeah, again, just ran up the goalkeepers, decided to dive, and he puts it straight down the middle. I've seen a couple of penalties like that.
Now it's their number 15, Joseph Edu. Another centre half to take this penalty. he misses, West Ham win. But he doesn't. Fabianski goes the wrong way and he looks at the ball and then looks to the sky, frustrated.
Yeah, that was a good penalty.
You'd think though, if Fabianski, I think that's why he was so frustrated. He knows that if he was to go the right way, he would have had that saved.
Yeah.
Well, here's another new boy, Louis Guillaume. And he scores. Good penalty. Keeper going the right way, but it still beat him.
Some good penalties, and even if the keepers go the right way, it's the pace on the ball that have beaten them.
Goalkeeper Marc Vidal-Girona, who came on in that second half of Villa. Able to keep out that brilliant effort from Louis Guillaume. Now, it's Pablo Duran Fernandez, the player that scored Celta Vigo's second goal. Can he keep them in it? He can't. Blazed it over the crossbar, and West Ham win the Betway Cup on penalties. 6-5, 2-2 after 90 minutes. What do you make of that penalty shootout?
Well, it was some good penalties in there. This last one is gone for power, straight down the middle, got under the ball, goes over the bar.
Well, there were some great penalties on show. It was a positive performance at parts for West Ham. They'll be frustrated to have drawn the overall match, but of course it was two deflected efforts that Celta Vigo benefited from. But overall, just to recap, Rufus, going forward now, Aston Villa at home next. What are you going to make in the next week? What do you think the players will be doing?
Well, I think it's a case of just listening to the manager of what he wants, and we've seen now that things are taking shape with the way that they want to play, the way that they want to press, and they just take that into next week.
Take it into next week. Well, it's going to be a big start of the Premier League season for Man City. Aston Villa at home, Crystal Palace away, and then Man City at home completes their August. Well, the Betway Cup here is finalised. West Ham are the winners through penalties. It was 2-2 after 90 minutes, but after the last miss from Celta Vigo, it meant that West Ham were to win on penalties 6-5. It's been a pleasure, Rufus. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
It finishes here. West Ham winners of this year's Betway Cup. So, of course, the trophy lift on its way for West Ham to lift. Of course, the Betway Cup, won by West Ham again. It started in 2015 when they became sponsors or had Betway as their sponsor, and then it really came to fruition and popularity when they played Juventus in the first game. Do you remember that one, Rufus?
I do. It was a decent game, but no, it's good for the fans. It's good for the players, and to finish the pre-season on this note, I think it's really, really good.
Of course, it looked a bit flawed at points when they played Wolves and Crystal Palace. I suppose when you're playing other Premier League opposition in pre-season, it's always hard to gauge what you really got out of that. How did you find those performances compared to this one today?
Well, I think when you look at those performances, if you look at the lineup as well, there's a lot of young players that played, and it's a case of when you get a new manager's getting your ideas across, and sometimes it takes time, and when you look at today's game, we'll be very, very pleased with the way that they went about the game today.
Absolutely. They'll be happy that they managed to get that win on penalties. Of course, it's a good addition. You never know when they may need a penalty shootout in this upcoming season. Because they're looking forward to now having a packed out crowd against Aston Villa next weekend, and what a game that'll be. That's going to be really interesting to see how both sides fare. Of course, Aston Villa, you had such a glorious season last year. Can they keep it up? They're now playing a side that it could be a bogey team for many sides. West Ham, they can take points off anyone. So it's two sides, in my opinion, of similar quality, albeit there was a bit of a difference in where they finished, but certainly both sides possess the same amount of quality on their day.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you look at West Ham, the window that they've had, the players that have come in, they've had a really, real impressive window, and it's about getting them players playing together and gelling together.
Well, they're going to have their first bit of silverware now to celebrate. I'm sure they'll be eyeing some more silverware this season. It's Jarrod Bowen, the man that won the Europa Conference League for them. One of the greatest nights in West Ham history. Now celebrating being the Betway Cup winners after their penalty win against Celta Vigo. Fairly timid celebrations, Rufus. Where's the champagne?
Yeah. There's definitely no champagne popping, is there? But he's lifted it.
Well, they'll be happy. They're happy they got the win. May not have been the most jubilant celebrations we've seen, but they've still got a whole season. They've got a campaign to focus on now, so no fun and games just yet. Of course, Antonio, who could form a good partnership with Phil Krug. It depends how Lopetegui wants to use him.
Yeah, and again, two different players, two different strikers. Antonio works extremely hard, and Phil Krug, we'll just have to wait and see. But we know that he has got pedigree.
Well, Kudus and Bowen, two brilliant wide players for West Ham, coming off, going down the tunnel as they get ready for the start of the Premier League season. And that is the end of the coverage. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a lovely weekend, everyone watching at home. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. And of course, West Ham have got plenty of YouTube content coming this campaign. It's been a pleasure, Rufus. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it.
And it ends here. West Ham, the winners of the Betway Cup.
Right, you lot, today's a big day, because we know West Ham United is all about putting in the hard work, grafting for the bag.
Yes, let's have it!
And you've worked hard. Early starts, late finishes. Oh, I've seen it, tireless, selfless graft. We're not just cooking on the pitch. We're cooking off it too. And you do it all on your own, don't you? Well, not anymore. It's not just about the badge on your shirt. It's about what you wear on your sleeve and what that represents. Because this club don't exist without you. You pillars of the community. You champions of industry. You beautiful business owners. Now get out there and show me what you've got.
Our London, real London, nobody stays a stranger. The Buildup, our London calling. More than just a place, the Cockney cool heard far and wide. Graft and dedication, together for the ride. Born here, raised or made here, this is home. Our differences unite us, wherever we may roam. Our spirit strong, our pride runs deep. In our London, it's our dreams we keep. Through highs and lows, we rise and shine. Beyond these streets, the bow bells chime.
Pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high.
Remember the glory. From the Academy of Football to the champions of Europe, where our players became giants of the game and changed it forever, wearing our famous claret and blue. 60 years on, we wear the pride, we wear the passion, we wear the history, whilst making our own. Wear the greatness.